Hello, Facebook land. I am with Abby Jones. And so I am super excited. This is the very first episode of Make Kind Loud Conversations that Turn Up the Volume. So, from my heart to yours, welcome, welcome, welcome. And Abby, I'm going to read a little bit about you. So, you just sit there and blush. Abby is 12 years old. She's in seventh grade. She has done some amazing things in her short life. One of the things is that she's the founder of Abby's Pay It Forward project, which began as a simple project when her grandparents would gift her $25 every year to pay forward in some way. The only thing is that she could not spend the money on herself. And so Abby has turned that $25 into thousands of dollars over the years. And she has supported Children of the Night, the Red Panda Network, Shelter Box, New Eyes for the Needy, Anchor School for the Blind, PETA, and several other organizations. And in 2017, she received the Compassionate Activist Award for her donation of $1,100 to PETA. And so, like I said, Abby's in the seventh grade. It's not only that, she is a world traveler. She is a TEDx speaker. And her big life goal is to leave the world better than she found it. So welcome, Abby.
Thank you. Yeah.
That I'm so glad you said yes. Thank you so much for saying yes, for being the very first guest on the episode.
Yeah, totally. I'm honored.
So you're in seventh grade, is that right?
Yep.
So how's school going for you?
It's going pretty well. I am surprisingly enjoying it, actually.
Really? What's your favorite subject in school?
Language arts.
Language arts. What do you like about that?
I just love writing and reading. It just comes naturally to me.
So. I love that. You have a favorite book?
I don't know. I have a few favorite authors, but I couldn't leave some out like that.
I understand. That's a hard question for me too. Yeah. So just tell me like one of your favorite authors.
Well, obviously J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
I have no
idea. J.K. is a good one.
Never came to mind.
That's okay. J.K. is great. Yeah.
J.K. Rowling. Honestly, she's great.
You know what she did? She transformed the way people read today. So yes. she inspired a whole generation of readers.
She did.
So that's a good one. So listen, you are a TEDx speaker.
Yes.
Tell me about that process. You spoke in front of 500 people, which is outstanding. So just talk about, your experience, your topic, and how that came about.
Yeah, so my mom did one last year, and we had some schedule changes, so we had to go to a party that she was already going to, and I was now forced to go to it. And they asked me what I would do mine on if I were to do one. And I said something about relationships in middle school, actually, and I ended up changing that. But they had a cancellation, someone couldn't do it, and they invited me to do it. So I was a month behind everybody else, but I managed to scrape up some ideas and get it done. Thankfully.
I heard not only did you manage to scrape up some ideas, I heard you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you. Hopefully I did. We're still waiting on the video. I was so nervous.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch it live, so I'm waiting on the video too. I'm so excited to watch it and see you speak. But I heard what you started with is that you told everybody to bring out their phones, and then you were like, okay, power them down. So tell me, why was that important?
It was important because at the end, I finished with saying how many of you felt uncomfortable without being able to get in touch with someone or not having access to any of that anymore. And it was really interesting because there were actually a surprising amount of people that raised their hands when I said how many of you were uncomfortable, how many of you felt like you were going to miss out on something important. It was quite surprising. the amount of
Yeah,
people.
because I think we're so dependent on our phones,
So
right?
connected.
Like if we don't have them, it's like the world is going to shut down.
Yep. Everything's going to stop.
Yeah, and so one of the quotes I saw today said, if you want your kids to be there or be a part of life, you have to show up for them and do the right thing.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
That just means that if you want to be a good role model to your kids and have them get off their phones, it's never fair if you're always on your phone and not even acknowledging them. It's just not okay to be on your device and not allowing your kid to be on theirs. So you need to get off yours as well, which is one of the hardest things.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a good perspective to have, because we do want kids to be more interactive and we do want kids to not have so much screen time. But at the same time, that means that we as adults have to model that behavior too.
Yeah.
And so is that the point you were trying to get across?
Exactly, yes. Yep, I was trying to tell the adults they gotta buck up and do it for themselves as well.
Exactly. Because like you said at the beginning, it's, the world is not going to stop just
No.
because you put your phone down for a little while.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there something that happened that made that so important to you, or how did that talk come about?
I got my phone taken away about a month ago,
Uh-huh.
a couple weeks ago, probably, and it. I felt like my world was going to end. I like couldn't process anything. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss out on everything. No, everybody's gonna judge me. I'm gonna be a loser now that I don't have a phone. And my mom was always on her phone, and so that's
Uh-huh.
where that point came from. Is like, get off your phone if you're gonna take my phone away. And now that I have my phone back, I've started becoming obsessed with it again. And so we've got some restrictions and things like that on it, like turn it off at this point. And
Yeah.
she's trying to work on turning hers off at the same time. So
How does that make you feel, knowing that your mom is being more aware of her screen time as well, since she is restricting your screen time? How does that make you feel?
it makes me feel a lot better. When I didn't have my phone and she would be on her phone, it was pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
Because it, like, I couldn't talk to her. We couldn't like have a conversation, and it was, I felt kind of left out. Even at
Yeah.
school, I felt left out. And so when she got off hers, it felt much better than it ever had, because we were both always on our phones and didn't
Yeah.
talk to each other.
Right. And you know what? That is a powerful point right there, that you can live in the same house with people and or have close friendships or whatever the case may be, and not really know them, because when you're together, each person is on their individual phone in their individual worlds.
Exactly.
So you said sometimes at school you felt left out. How were you left out, or why do you feel like you were left out at school when you didn't have your phone?
Everyone at school was on their phones, and you know, nobody acknowledged me or talked to me. So
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
just, I was just out there all by myself on my phone.
You were just out there blowing in the wind.
Yep.
I get that. And so you're in the seventh grade, right? So seventh and eighth grade are some tough years.
Yep.
So you initially said that your talk was going to be about relationships in middle school.
Yeah.
How do you see relationships? How do kids interact with each other? Are there like real relationships that happen, or
No.
how do you feel what's happening around 12 years old?
It is one of the most awkward times to be in a relationship. Because kids younger than this are like, I like you, great, okay, let's go play on the playground. But this age, it's like, that's weird. What do we do now? So
I got you.
That's why kids text and don't talk to each other, is because it's so awkward, like talking to each other in person, that they rely on the technology to be able to communicate.
And that's happened not even 12-year-olds, but also like people in their early 20s. By the way, I have 24 nieces and nephews, right? And so they range from, there's a bunch of them. They range from 35 all the way down to 7 months old.
Wow.
But it's that late teenage, early 20-year olds who I since have a difficulty actually speaking with people because they have relied on their phones for so long
Yeah.
that the art of communication has definitely taken a hit.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and but I think with your reading, like you are, well versed and can hold a definite, a very intellectual conversation. But how do you get over other people not being able to communicate as well as you do?
Well, one of the questions that I got asked for after my TED talk was,
Uh huh.
have you tried to encourage kids around you to get off their phones? And I did. I did try to do that at school, and it was surprisingly difficult. They were so connected to them. They were completely not okay with giving them up
Yeah.
just to have a conversation. It was really um, disturbing and disappointing.
Yeah.
But I, one of my best friends, she was always there when I felt really sad that I didn't have my phone, and she was always there to have a conversation with. So
That's very cool.
that was good.
So you said they're so connected that they're so connected that they're really disconnected, right?
Exactly.
Like they're so plugged in that they don't know how to operate any other way.
Yeah. They lose connection with the real world,
Yeah,
is how I explain it. It's just
I love that.
disappears.
Yeah, it does, and we have to figure out a way. And I think you are onto something. And I think actually your generation, the 12 and a little bit younger, are craving that human connection more so than the generation before you guys. So I think you guys are on a road to helping us bridge the gap and making it better and easier to have those face to
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
conversations. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So let's talk
Yeah.
about your Abby's Pay It Forward. Tell me about what happened. Your grandparents give you this $25,
Yeah.
and then what happened? You ran with it.
Yeah. So in the beginning years, obviously, I wasn't old enough to make my own decisions about what I
Yeah.
was going to put the money towards. So my parents did that for the first few years. But once I was old enough to figure out what I wanted to do it about, I would think of anything that I was really passionate about and that was current and going on in the world.
Yep.
And I would think, how can I solve this? How can I solve this being only, 6, 7, 12? And
Yeah.
um, can I raise money? Can I donate? Can I raise towels? We got towels for a local animal shelter and donated those to them. And for the animals, that was a good one. I liked that one a lot. That was fun.
That's awesome.
Got
So how
to
do you come up with your ideas to expand your $25 and to donate to different organizations? Like, how do you come up with those ideas?
one year for PETA we did a GoFundMe, and
Nice.
um, yeah, I mean I watch the news a lot actually, and there are some things on there that I'm like, we need to fix that. That can't happen anymore. So we've been watching the news a lot because my birthday is coming up, and
Yep.
so we've been trying to get some inspiration about all of that as well. And
That's pretty
yeah,
cool. So you watch the news. See, I don't watch the news because I don't like all of the negativity.
I agree.
Excuse me. So why do you watch the news? Just to keep informed or what is
Yeah,
it?
it. I mean, sometimes there's nothing else on to watch, but around this time is when I start watching the news a lot
Yep.
because I start needing ideas for what I want to do my pay it forward on. So that is what helps me get more ideas. But I like watching the news. I don't know why. It
That's okay. I mean, that's
it's
awesome.
fascinating.
It is. It is. And I think what we talked about earlier about the connection, because, there's social media, there's so many different outlets where you can get news from that, there's a lot of information out there. And so to have all of that information, um, how do you process it and still, be 12? You know what I mean?
I've had a lot of people say I'm too mature for my age. But yeah, it is hard with everything going on the news right now to stay positive and kind.
Yeah, kindness is a big thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I love your shirt, by the way. It says make kindness the norm, which is awesome. And so again, being 12 and being in the seventh grade, how do you see a lot of kindness in your school, or how do you portray kindness? How are you kind?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. There's not a lot of kindness in middle school, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the teachers are probably the kindest people in the school, but I always try to, if someone falls down or can't open their locker, drops their binder, I
Yeah.
always stop and help that person.
That's awesome. And I
Yeah.
think it's, leading by example, just doing those small things. It doesn't have to be, a grand gesture or a big, production. It's like you said, if somebody drops their binder, if they need help opening their locker, it's just those little kind things, because you never know what people are going through. And, I always say, because I have 24 nieces and nephews, that kids are people too. And so we like to tell kids what to do, but you guys have your own thoughts, you have your own things that are going on in your life. And so just to, model that behavior for your fellow students is outstanding.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a role model?
It's a tricky question. I don't want to brag.
It's not bragging, just, stating facts.
I would say that I try to be a role model.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
I volunteer in the special needs classroom at my school, and I always try and do the best thing in this situation, but sometimes it doesn't work and nobody really cares, and that's okay. I mean, you don't always need recognition for the
Right,
things
exactly.
you do, but I try to make sure everybody's doing the right thing. I mean, just the other day, someone was calling someone a word that I didn't
Yeah.
appreciate, and
Hmm.
I immediately said, no, that can't happen. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure people aren't calling each other names or
Yeah.
putting each other down for reasons they shouldn't be, or ever
I
putting each other down.
Yeah, I love that. And it's people who use their voices like you in the moment. So when you see something that's happening in the moment, that's when you speak up, not, later. You say that's not right, and, keep it moving. So I love that you do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So how do you want what is your perfect vision of the world?
There's a lot of things. I mean, end world hunger, world peace,
Right? Right.
the typical things. But I think all of that could be accomplished if everyone was just a little nicer. Nobody has to go completely out of their way and donate $1 million to a foundation, but every $10 counts. So if everybody were just to step it up a little and be a little nicer to everybody else, make kindness the norm.
Exactly, because we
The
all
world,
belong to each other. We all
exactly.
belong to each other. So, like you said, if everyone was just a little bit nicer, if
Yeah,
everyone was just a little bit kinder, the whole energy would shift.
yeah.
Michael Davey, by the way, said Abby for president 2020.
I see that. I see that
I
now.
love that. I love that. And our friend Mia says that she wants to partner with you for your next campaign so that y'all can,
Yeah.
be a powerhouse together. So that's just something for you to think about. But I absolutely, Abby, I think you are amazing. I think you are onto something, and I appreciate the way you walk in this world. I feel it through the screen that you lead with love and that you walk in kindness. And that's what we need more of. So thank you for being who you are.
Thank you.
Thank you for, standing tall and shining bright, because we need you. Your very presence in this world is outstanding, and it's needed, and it's magical. And so I just want you to know that I appreciate you and your heart. And I wish you much, much success, and that just continue to do exactly what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. This again is the very first episode of Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. And as Abby said, it is time for all of us to step it up just a little bit. And if we were all nicer, just a little nicer, this world would be a better place. So thanks again, Abby, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.